Hello there, Cajon drummers! Thanks for having me back on your YouTube screens. So today what you just heard is the pattern that we're going to learn in this video. Now I have been away for just a little while. I went overseas for a bit, which means there hasn't really been too much in the way of Cajon lessons going up. So to make up for that, I'm going to do 3 Cajon lessons in 3 days. So let's start with this one on day 1. And yeah, that's the groove that we're going to learn. There's a few things going on there. We'll look at the Flam-Tap that's sort of accenting those snares, making them sound really big. And then also there's just a little finger roll at the end, as well as it being a slightly more complicated groove. But let's get into that now. Let's look at all the steps and break it down for you. Okay, so let's start with that Flam-Tap. All it is one hand like just a millisecond before the other, and then the other hand sort of playing the accent. Now that might just take a few minutes to get used to if you are just starting out with flams, but let's move on to an exercise that we can use to practice it, so something to warm up with or to develop it into something else that we can use. So really it's quite basic. We're just going to do snare and then bass, but the left hand's going to be working a little bit harder to get those flam taps in. I'll show you how it's going to sound. The job of the right hand here is to add that little bit of pre-flam, that sort of flam texture, and then the left hand is playing the double. We then follow it up with the bass. So just again, really slowly. And this is something that's really basic, but when you do speed it up, it starts to develop its own texture, it starts sounding really cool. So let's speed that up now. It's one of those things that really becomes quite difficult very quickly when you do start to speed it up. So that's something that I like to work on every now and then, just to really train up that left hand for the flams. So spend a bit of time just working on that Flam-Tap exercise, but just so you've got something to work with now in a more of a musical setting, let's turn that Flam-Tap into a basic rock beat and we'll see how that sounds. Now, let's check out that groove that I played at the start of the video and see how we go sort of developing it into something a little more complicated and sort of really making those hands work a little bit harder. So let's get into that now. I'll show you how it sounds really slow. Now the finishing touch for me on this groove is just a bundle of 30-second notes using a finger roll from the end of 4 to the end of the bar. I'll count it out this time so you see where that is, but I'll show you just what I like to do just to add a little more to that groove. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and... Oh, it's actually difficult to count that out loud and play it. Try that yourself, it's always hard and worthwhile because it just sort of makes everything feel a lot more solid once you can count it out loud and play it. So that's the next challenge. But yeah, that little finger roll at the end, the sort of the 30 seconds just at the end of the bar, I find that sort of rounds out the groove nicely and adds that little bit of a anticipation before the next bar. That's sort of my thoughts on it anyway. So if you do learn this groove, see what you can add on top of it to add a little more spice or whatever you're feeling at the time. And there we have it, guys. That's what I've been working on today, so I thought I'd share that one with you. See how you go going through that. If you do have any questions ever, just leave a comment down below the video. I'm always replying to those, so we can hang out there if you have any anything that you want to suggest or work on as well. So if you want to keep up with the new videos on my channel, as I said, I've got 3 coming up in the next 3 days, then you can always just subscribe to the channel and keep up with the new videos as they come out. So thanks very much for watching and welcoming me back to your YouTube screen, hopefully. So I will see you guys on the next video. Bye.